this is information that you are not going to get anywhere else. Okay, I've just come across something which I'm still. This is news that's developing, and it's in regard to the Israeli Palestinian conflict, which is breaking out now. And I have I came across this piece of information, so I decided to dig deeper into this. But it was so hard for me to find something. And I had my suspicions. That's why I kept digging. And I had my suspicions that the mainstream media was deliberately hiding this piece of information because they don't want people to think that this virus is these restrictions, the way these politicians are all over the world, and especially Zionist Israel, are using this virus, this so-called virus, which kills less than 1% of people who get it. They're using this virus to take away freedoms, to keep tabs on people, to make people miserable. That these restrictions are really beginning to become worse than the virus. And what this information that I'm getting is that the state of Israel, the government of Israel, one of the reasons why all of this violence is going on is because Muslims were being prevented from going to what's called the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is apparently the third holiest place in Islam. And many Muslims wanted to go there for Ramadan, which is like Islamic Christmas or Islamic Easter. I mean, this is a holy place. That's like the Vatican for Catholics. And the Israelis are telling them, no, you can't come here, or at least they're severely limiting it. And they've gone from severely limiting or restricting to saying, no, y'all are coming here. You are not coming here. And Muslims are like, hey, wait a minute. What you out of your mind here? So this is part of the reason. Seems to be part of the reason why there's so much violence happening in Israel right now, in Palestine, because the Muslims are saying, we want to pray at this place. This is our holy place. Israel is saying no. Palestine is saying, we're going to stand up for our Arabs here. I mean, we're going to stand up for them. I've said this, the Muslims, and I'm not an Islamic person, I'm a Christian. But one thing you can say that I admire about the Muslims, they take their religion seriously. They take their religion serious. You see all these Christians, I mean, look at all these Christian pastors in Canada being arrested for opening their churches being attacked. And we Christians it's almost, I mean, we make a little noise. We just, for the most part, just kind of sit and take. I mean, look at Pastor Art Pulaski. I mean, that brother there, he just now come out of prison. Pastor Art Pulaski in Calgary, Alberta, forced to go on his knees on the freeway in Alberta in front of everybody, indignant, indecencies. I mean, this is how the government of Canada treats the pastor. I mean, this is how they treated the pastor. The pastor, for forcing the pastor. This is literally, I mean, I don't know if I should go so far as to say he's God's representative or God's mouthpiece on earth. And y'all are forcing him to kneel on the freeway for opening up church. And the Christian population, I mean, we make a little noise, we kind of whatever. Kevin J. Johnson, a good friend of mine, he makes a video. But it's like, what else do we do? The Muslims now. The Muslims. That's why you don't see this happening in Canada, because they know if any Canadian politician ever did to the Muslims what they're trying to do to Christians, Canada would look just as bad as Israel is right now. I mean, and Canada doesn't have no Iron Dome and IDF and Canada would turn up. So I mean, but look what's happening in Israel now. So I have this news clip, and Israel restricts Palestinians from praying at Al-Aqsa, not Aska. So this was a article last month, and it's still going on now. But you see, here's the thing: we hear in the media that Israel is restricting Palestinians and Arabs from going to Al-Aqsa, full stop. We don't necessarily hear the reasons why, but the reason why, at least a big part of the reason why, is because of this so-called China virus. So this China virus, this so-called COVID-19, which kills less than 1% of people, is causing more trouble. The restrictions are causing more trouble than the virus. This virus kills less than 1% of people who get it, but the restrictions that the politicians and especially Israel, the restrictions that they're doing is killing way more people than this virus. I mean, COVID-19 is laying an envy at Israel right now. Israel and its restrictions are killing way more people than this virus ever could. On a special day of prayer, Israel on Friday restricted Palestinians from Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque to those who have gotten the vaccine, even though there are not enough doses available. Now, I think, I'm skeptical about vaccines. I'm not getting the vaccine. But if you want to take it, that's fine. I don't think that a country should prevent people from going to especially a religious place, but anywhere, if they don't take a vaccine. A vaccine is a medication that not everyone can take. There are people in the world who can't take Tylenol. So if there are people in the world who can't take something as innocent as Tylenol, you mean to tell me that everybody in the world is expected to take a vaccine? And if they don't take it, they can't go to one of the holiest places in their religion? Is that what you're saying, Zionist Israel? And is this what you conservatives want to support and stand up for, you Zionist shills out there? Is this the Israel you want to stand up for and fight me over? Is this the Israel you want to stand up for? All you Zionists out there wanting to attack me and disliking this video and everything, is this the Israel that you want to support? Is this what you're supporting? You so-called freedom lovers, you so-called this and that, y'all are a bunch of frauds, phonies. Y'all just do whatever your masters tell you to do. Let's go on here. Israeli authorities first allowed hundreds of Palestinians from the occupied West Bank with special permits to enter Jerusalem for the first Friday prayers of the Muslim holy month. But Israel also stipulated those who want to perform the prayers must have taken the vaccine, which prevented thousands from doing so. So there you go. And I mean, I found this article by looking high and low for it. Al-Aqsa. These Arab words, man. These Middle Eastern words, I don't know. But anyway, I mean, all of this is news now. This Al-Aqsa Mosque. Why Jerusalem's Aqsa Mosque is an Arab-Israeli fuse. Israel violence from Aqsa to Palestinian rockets. I mean, what's behind the clashes in Jerusalem? Well, I mean, Israeli police clash with Palestinian protesters at Al-Aqsa Mosque. They want to pray, and Israelis are saying, no, you ain't praying, no, I don't care. Israeli ambassador, okay. You see? But here's the thing. Now, there's this other part of the story where you've got a bunch of radical Zionists out there who want to celebrate Jerusalem Day. And they want to march up and down Arab streets. And Israel is telling them, no, you can't do that. So you'll get people now saying, well, Israel is preventing Jews from doing their thing too. Well, too wrong. That doesn't make it right either. That doesn't make it right. You're using this virus to prevent people from practicing their religion. I mean, you preventing the Jews from going on their mount, whatever mount. I don't know these. Honestly, I really don't know. All I know is what I'm seeing in front of me. All of these things are being closed out, but the Muslims are fighting. They say, no, we're fighting for our religion. You see what I mean? The Christians and the Jews, they don't stand up for their religion like the Muslims. They don't. The Muslims, they stand up for themselves. They stand up for themselves, and then they're coming. So this is a big reason. I mean, there's really two reasons why conflict, this violence is escalated. Number one, you have a case where Israel is trying to evict Palestinians or Israeli Arabs from their homes in Jerusalem. Just to throw them out. I mean, some people say they're not paying their rent. I don't know, but I am hearing, and this is sad. And I'm hearing from Zionist shows that, well, this neighborhood was owned by Jews, and we just taken it back. This neighborhood was a Jewish neighborhood, and we have every right to throw out any Muslim we want into the Jewish neighborhood. I mean, first of all, I don't believe that, because, I mean, they say it's Jewish neighborhood going back to the 18th century. 18th century, that territory was Ottoman Empire. So don't go there. But secondly, even if it was a Jewish neighborhood, I mean, can you imagine the furor if South Africa decided they were going to remove white people from their homes? Well, these homes are in Africa. White people don't come from Africa. So we have every right to throw them out of the house. Look, they took our land. Back in the day, they took our land and they never paid for it. So we just taken the land back. Can you imagine the furor on Fox News, on all these places? I mean, can you imagine the furor? So as far as I'm concerned, I'm seeing the same thing. So that's the first reason why this violence is taking place. The second reason is because Israel is preventing Arabs from going to one of their most important mosques in the world because of this China virus, which kills less than 1% of people who get it. Sweden never had a lockdown. I tell these things to people time and time again. Why don't people listen to me when I say that Sweden has never had a lockdown or a mask mandate yet? It hasn't even come up in Sweden. Are you telling, is Sweden a backwards country? Are we not supposed to follow Sweden? I mean, Sweden is a very developed nation. I mean, are we not supposed to follow Sweden? Is Sweden backwards? Are the people poor? Are they simpletons? I mean, when I tell people that Sweden has never had a lockdown, I mean, the virus has hit there too, but their population is not dying out. But nobody seems to listen to me. They don't want to listen to me. It's like, I mean, Japan, the same thing. And Japan is an even more successful country as well. But Israel feels it's necessary, just like all the other countries. So it's not just Zionist Israel I'm picking on, but they are the ones who are also wanting to put shock collars on people to make sure that they're quarantining. So I believe Israel is actually being the most restrictive and evil when it comes to this virus. But to say in a very tense nation like Israel, you want to ban Arabs from going to a mosque because of this virus, when number one, anyway, I won't even say it, but you see, I really hope that some of y'all so-called conservatives who are listening to this right now, who love to jumping up and down for Israel has a right to defend itself. It's the Jewish homeland. That's what the Bible says. And Donald Trump told me to support Israel, and all of my Republican people who I support on the Fox News tell me to support Israel. So that's what I think is going to do. I'm going to support it. You see what happens when you don't have an independent mind and you don't listen and take time to reason. I mean, you all are literally supporting things that you normally wouldn't support. And I think part of it even has to do with racism too. I think so. I think because, you know, Israel is fighting amongst Arabs, which nobody likes. Look, I'm not a big fan of Islam. I don't hate Islamic people, but I'm not a fan of the religion. But because y'all see these Israelis who are not really white, they're Jewish, and you know, we kind of not really so sure about Jews, but we really aren't sure about Muslims. I mean, we can kind of sort of sympathize with Jews. I mean, we can tolerate Jews, but we ain't tolerating the Muslims. I mean, we can tolerate the Jews to a certain extent, but hey, you Muslims, y'all, you Jews, you can kill them if you. I don't care. If Palestine was Texas, oh my gosh, Israel would not get away with what it's getting away with now. I'm telling you, if Palestine was full of white Anglo-Saxon Protestants with blonde hair and blue eyes named Christopher Smith or Bonnie Campbell or McPherson or something, I think Israel I think 10 nuclear bombs worse than Hiroshima would have dropped on Israel by now because of what they have done. But because these people are not named Bonnie Campbell or Peter Smith, they're named Muhammad and Ramses and you know, Al this and Al that, and you know, that's it. They don't get a second look. They don't get a second look. It's just so you know. But I'm serious here. This virus is causing a lot of problems. This virus this not this virus, but the reaction to this virus is going to cause World War III, because this Israel Palestine thing can escalate into World War III, you know, because I mean, America is a shill for Israel. Russia, Vladimir Putin, he's not a fan of Israel, you know. Vladimir Putin is not the biggest fan of Israel. Vladimir Putin's sympathies are more likely to side with the Palestinians. It definitely sides with the Iranians, but the Palestinians, look. So if this thing gets worse and America starts getting too involved, Russia might start getting too involved, and China, I mean, I don't know what China is, but this could get very bad. I mean, all because a bunch of Muslims are being prevented from going to their mosque because of this virus. I mean, I seriously now, I think this has got to stop. This, you all, anyway, we will see what's going on. But when I saw this and the fact that I had to look so deep into this, because I don't even know if that's the whole truth, but I mean, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Muslims are being prevented from going to their mosque. And then I hear about COVID-19 and all of these restrictions and all of this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, my gosh, do you mean to tell me that all of these rockets going back and forth from Israel, from Tel Aviv into Gaza Strip and all this is all because of these restrictions? Well, you know what I say? I say, Muslims, you keep fighting. You keep fighting, yes. You keep fighting. No country has the right to stop people from going into their religion for no reason. I don't know. I think these Christians here should look at the way these Muslims are trying to fight for their mosque. You should copy them. Yeah, because look, I think Canada is doing the same thing to Christians as Israel is doing to Palestine and to Arabs. They're doing the same thing. Look at what Calgary police did to Pastor Art Pulowski in Calgary. Did you see that? Let me see. Do we have a clip of this? Let me show you what Calgary police. I don't have the engineer here, so I'm going to have to do this myself. Pastor Art Pulowski arrested in Calgary. I mean, do we see that clip somewhere? I need to see that clip. I need to find that clip. I mean, This is a pastor of a church, and he's opening a church. I mean, we've got, pot stores open, LCBO is open, which is the liquor store, and you got this pastor who wants to open up churches for his Christian following, and he's being forced to kneel. Okay, so we have the video here. I want you to see. This is what Canada is doing to Christians. It almost looks similar to what Israel is doing to Muslims. Look at it.
Freedom in Canada, democracy in Canada.
This is a pastor. This is the same pastor, by the way, who managed to throw out Alberta Health Service and Calgary Police from his church when they came in without a warrant. I need to skip. I want to skip to the part of the arrest. Look at what they do to the pastor. Look at what they do to the pastor. Look at him. Look at the pastor. Look at the pastor. Look what they do to the pastor. Lord, look at it. This is what Canada's doing to the pastor. All you need now is some rockets and some Iron Dome and some IDF, and it's the same thing. I mean, it's not as violent, but listen, that's only because Christians, they don't fight like the Muslims fight. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at what the world has become because of this so-called virus. This pastor opened up his church. Look at it. They forced the pastor. Look at what they are doing to the. Look at this. Look at what they're doing to a pastor. This is God's mouthpiece. And look what they're doing to. Canada's going to go to hell if they keep doing it. Canada is going to become cursed like Israel if they keep this up. Look at what they're doing to the pastor's followers. Canada is going to become cursed, just like Israel is being cursed. I can't watch any more of that. I can't take no more. I can't watch any more of this abomination. Canada is going to become cursed just like Israel is being cursed, with violence, with blood in the street. You saw just earlier, I heard there was some shooting at the airport in Vancouver. This is the curse beginning. Canada, I think Canada's already cursed. You're going to start seeing what you've seen in Israel, you're going to start seeing it there. I'm telling you, you're going to start seeing blood in the street. You're going to start seeing violence, rockets, all kind of things. God can do it. God will curse Canada just like he has cursed Israel if y'all keep it up. Look what this virus has done to us. You're messing with religion. When you mess with religion, bad things happen. So I encourage Muslims, listen, I'm not Islamic, I'm not Jewish, I am Christian. But I believe everybody should be at any time allowed to go into their church, their mosque, and their synagogue. And for Israel to prevent Muslims from going into their mosque over this virus, which is not a virus, is one of the reasons why the curse will not disappear from Israel. And for Canada to do what it did to Pastor Art Pawlowski, because he opened up his church, and for Canada to block Christians from going to church, Canada is going to become cursed, just like Israel. This is the